Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually listened to Meghan's new podcast, the Confessions of a Female Flounder, that first episode. And here's my review. You know that I really didn't listen to any of Arsewypes' full podcasts episodes back in the day. I just listened to like 15 minutes and then I jumped right to the transcript. And I told you in another video that I was not going to listen to Confessions of a Female Flounder, but I was going to just jump straight to the transcript. But I said, I had a bad day today, and I needed to decompress. And I don't know what I said. It might be a good idea to listen to this. Maybe it's worth it, especially when I saw that Meghan Markle reveals huge health battle in the first episode of her Confessions of a Female Flounder podcast. It's so scary. And the fact that she said this, said, okay, I absolutely need to listen. Because if I don't listen to this, I wouldn't say if I buy or not buy that story. I have to listen to the thing. And I did listen to the thing. And the first impression that I got, my first impression of this, is that I have to say that Arsewypes, for all that we criticized Arsewypes, for all that I made fun of Arsewypes was way better produced than this. Even if there were this, allegations and confirmation at the same time that Meghan was not present for some sections of the recording of the podcast. At least it was this quick changes that they have these quick sections has better music. This was 45 minutes because it was 50 minutes, but 5 minutes were only ads, and it was boring. It was certainly boring. The guest was Bumble dating app founder Whitney Wolfe Herd, first guest of her new podcast. Again, my question is, I guess that they are friends, because I don't understand how you are going to invite the founder, a former and current CEO, because she was not the CEO of Bumble for some time, because, Bumble's stock price speaks for itself. In 5 years, it has went from nearly $80 to $4. From $80 to $4. That is not a success story. That is a rather embarrassing story, to say the least. You know that Bumble, if you're not familiar, is one of these dating apps that is like Tinder, but it did this difference is that originally the edge that Bumble had over other dating apps is that women had to do the first move. Women were the only ones who could send the first message. Oh, they're so feminist, they're so great, and for some reason that we cannot explain, because these feminists insist that biology, psychology, hundreds of thousands of years of evolution are not a thing. For some reason, they didn't work. And in fact, when they tried to backtrack and decide, okay, we're not going to do that anymore, it went even worse. So it's not like it has been like the best choice for her first episode. I cannot imagine who were going to be the other 7. But of course, the episode had to be about Meghan herself and whatever she suffered. Meghan Markle has opened up about her scary experience with postpartum preeclampsia in the first episode of her new podcast. In the first 15-minute episode, Markle detailed the health struggle she endured during her pregnancy. I can imagine that it's also a struggle for Meghan, had to compete with Harry on the same day. She's launching her podcast, and Harry is in this stuff that I'm going to reference a bit later. And not being the complete protagonist of her day must be really upsetting. I'm sure that Harry is going to spend some more extra time in the basement because of this. But it is such a coincidence that Catherine, Princess of Wales, had so many issues during her pregnancies. And all of a sudden, for her new podcast, on episode 1, Meghan comes up with this. I say, what a coincidence. The timing is always impeccable for the Duchess of Sausages. It's something that I find so interesting. It requires a statistical analysis of how this happens so often. But again, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. I wouldn't say, I am not as cruel as to say I don't buy this, but I don't know. We'll be sitting there in my lap during one of these meetings with a grade of all the executives. I wouldn't have it any other way. They are talking about being, female entrepreneurs, female business owners, CEOs, and doing the motherhood thing at the same time. Which I'm going to just have an opinion. This is one opinion. Okay, this is not a fact. This is my opinion. This is one of the most, let's say, stressing things for women, especially Generation X women, especially suffer from that because it is like this storyline. And Meghan Kelly was talking about that. I respect Meghan Kelly on many issues, but this one, it seems like it's like they're saying, oh, yeah, you can be both things at the same time. You can be a complete motherhood superheroine and a girl boss at the same time. That is pretty much unrealistic. That it's if you fail, if you're watching this and you say that you failed at the utopia, it's not a utopia, the word, at the pipe dream. Pipe dream is the word of being both things, that the perfect mother and the perfect girl boss simultaneously, and you feel like you're failing. It's not your fault. It's because it's pretty darn impossible to pull that off. And maybe you're stressing way too much over something that you have. You cannot juggle both things at the same time. And then my opinion about daycares. Not gonna repeat them here. Not the point of this video. But coming back to this, what I do love the most about having young kids in this chapter while I'm building is the perspective that it brings. Markle added. So Meghan is talking about her founding experience and having kids at the same time because you're building something. What have you built, Meghan? It is my question. What have you built? So now, seriously, let's talk about. Let's be serious, Meghan. Let's be serious about this. What have you built? What have you built? Because American Riviera Horchard. Where's my fake jam? I have still my American Riviera Horchard. American Riviera Horchard was dead on arrival. Then Arsewypes was wiped out. Then the cooking show, we don't know where it's going. What have you built? Don't use that word because you're building something while your child is going through potty training. Again, Meghan has a point. Meghan has a point. You can have a business, a home business at home, but I think that is way too much juggling both things at the same time. And Meghan is a bit hypocritical about this because, she hasn't really built anything. If she really wanted to do a podcast, if she was for real, it would be as simple as having a microphone, having a camera, and interviewing women, like with your phone camera. It's that simple. By the way, these podcasts are especially boring because you don't have, the body language. You don't have the video. It would have, as far as I listened to, it seemed like they both were in the same room. There were no lag. The audio was perfect between both of them. So why don't just record that on video? Why couldn't do that? That would be way more engaging. But well, Wolf heard chime in. Technology is a beautiful tool for parents because you can dial in and be present and do a great job on the call while you sit in the carpool line outside school. This is unrealistic. This is unrealistic. Oh yeah, I am in a Zoom call with investors or with the board of directors while I'm in a carpool line outside school. That is unrealistic. That is deeply misleading and unrealistic. Okay, it is possible. It is physically, technically possible, but it's unrealistic. Okay, just so you're warned. Like, why do I need to be at that desk? I have the same mental opinion in a carpool line. All right. Royal Wales has an opinion about that. Catherine having a serious life-threatening condition during all her pregnancies that even forced her to require hospitalization. You know who? I also had a life-threatening condition during my pregnancies. Yeah, okay. That's again, the timing it's on point. And regarding timing, Harry interrupting Meghan's time to shine, Prince Harry says that he was singled out and forced to quit royal life in court showdown. I mean, quit royal life? Quit? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle claim they stepped back from your royal family as they were not protected by institution. I mean, wasn't him the one, thanks Nicole CFC10 for reminding us this. We are on the freedom fight. We are on the freedom fight. Yeah, the guy was, the guy was stoned, but beyond repair. Wasn't that the freedom flight? Didn't you want to get out? Wasn't that your premise? Oh, poor Harry, says the comment section. Imagine the sheer horror of being treated like a regular person, having to follow the same rules as everyone else. How dreadfully unfair. After all, nothing says single out, like voluntarily quitting royal duties, getting off to California, I would say, airing your family's dirty laundry for Netflix cash, and then being shocked when the taxpayer is not footing your security bill anymore. It must be exhausting trying to play the victim and the celebrity and the royal all at once. But hey, at least he made it to court safely without his publicly funded entourage. So maybe, just maybe, he's not as unsafe as he claims. No, it's this is all made up. This is all made up. And Patricia Treble brings the receipts. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex's interpretation of their decision to live full-time royal life has changed in 5 years. Because first, in 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have made the choice to transition into a new working model. And you know that they made sure to go against the Accords, what they had agreed with the late Queen, and now, well, this is back in 2020 as well. They felt forced to step back from the role of full-time official working members of the royal family as they considered they were not being protected by the institution. They are retconning. I have told you about that term many times, retconning. They're trying to make it seem that, no, we were forced out. Nobody forced you out. Nobody forced you out. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Even I, the most ignorant royal commentator of all, literally, even I know that you planned all this before getting married. Give me a break. Who's gonna believe this? Who is going to believe this? I don't know. But people who are actually going to believe this is that people like Daniel Martin, which, by the way, Daniel Martin, the, stylist, makeup artist, I don't know, Meghan's friend who was on her show, he's on this kind of crusade pointing out people and saying that, claiming through the Daily Mail that, in this case, according to TASS, said things about Meghan's jam. All right, and they made up things about TASS. Oh, how interesting. They're accusing, they are doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing that they accuse everyone of. And it seems that TASS has, well, it says, this is what broke the camel's back. TASS is going to make a video. I'm all for it. I'm all for that video, Taz. I'm waiting for that video. I want to see what you come up with as usual. But we needed to address, as Christian Frueba says, Prince Harry, 40 years old, was gifted a 40 million historic house in Windsor, fully supported his entire life, no job, leaves family and country, then trashes family and press without end. Father still helps him buy a 14 million house in California, still complaining half a decade later. And as far as we know, the King and Harry did not meet. And I think that was the right call from the King. It's like, no, this is bad juju. I don't want anything to do with the ginger-haired one. It's like, I think that is the right call. Again, my verdict from the first episode of Meghan's Confessions of a Female Flounder, extremely boring. Arsewypes! Perhaps I treated Arsewypes too harshly. Arsewypes was better. A lot of hypocrisy, a lot of made-up stuff, a lot of pushing for this. You can do everything at the same time narrative that has been so toxic for women. To feel so guilty, that they cannot keep up with everything because, yeah, that's pretty much impossible. Not women, not men would be able to do that. You must be an alien to be able to do that. So don't feel bad if you cannot keep up. And as for Harry, well, maybe I will review his case. But what is there to review? Is only him complaining about being singled out? What is the other thing? Is that saying that, oh yeah, that we were pushed away. We were thrown away. Completely false. And I think that he wanted to play the victim again, right? I don't know for the upteenth time. But this time was special because this time he stole the shine from Meghan. And that is not going to go without consequences. But I would like to know what do you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. Remember to download my 100 free body language tips in the description of this video. Much love and bliss.